All right. How is everyone doing? Starting in the afternoon, so not sure if there's how many people going to join us today, but let's see if anyone. Okay, we have a few people on, so thank you all for showing up. I know we started a little later in the day, but it works out. I had some things to do this morning. This week has been a Nine of Hearts week, which has a Seven of Diamonds attached to it. And man, I ain't gonna lie, I spent a lot of money.
Right?
So much. So I'm like, I think I'm gonna return some things.
Rashad.
For real. I gotta be honest. You know me, I gotta be honest. If it's one thing I'm gonna tell you the truth. Welcome to the card table where we give you our lives. You know, what do you bring to the table, right?
Um, actually, today, it's funny. Today is my 9-year business anniversary since I became an entrepreneur. I got my business license today on a Seven of Spades day. I didn't know that. Actually, obviously 9 years ago, I had no idea. But today is my anniversary. When I looked at the date, I was like, wow, a Seven of Spades is pretty dope because literally I went out on faith with this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I've openly said that numerous times. I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to create these products, and the whole learning how to run a business kind of came with doing it. So really having faith is key because um, I just can't believe it's been 9 years, which is just nuts to me. And I actually did a show this weekend. That's part of why we're doing this evening, is because I've been gone all weekend for what's actually called Spirit Fest. And it's a really cool metaphysical show. And I actually didn't do it for the cards at all. I do it for my products because I had done this show 4 or 5 years ago, a couple times. Really good shows, really good fit for my products. So it was dope. Had a good weekend, made some money, spent some money. I went shopping with all the other vendors because I love to. Yeah, I do a lot of barter and trade. Hey, you want this? I'll get this. Can I have that? So, but it was fun. It was a good weekend.
Oh, that sounds like you made some money. You did make some money.
Oh yeah, I did well. I did pretty good.
Okay, okay. Well, it sounds like that's the other side. Did you give away any products, or did
Oh
you do like a giveaway?
absolutely. I gave the lady because they were already booked, and she knows me. And about a month ago, I reached out to her. I was like, "Hey, is there any more space for the show here in Orlando?" And she was like, "Dang, we're booked." But she was like, "I would love to have you back. So let me see what I can do." And she squeezed me in. And so I gave her a bath bomb to take home as a thank
Mhm.
you. I gave another vendor who I hadn't seen in a really long time a bath bomb to take home. And she's been purchasing from me since she met me years ago at the show. The lady next to me, who my neighbor, her and I, we had a blast all day today, just yapping away. I gave her a cream. So yeah, I'm always about giving people stuff. So
Mm. Yeah, this is, as we kind of left off from last week. I really should be doing like more videos throughout the week. I'm like, that's something else I should do. Should be doing a little bit more. Is doing some clips, and like sometimes during the as far as I was thinking, like I kind of see what Madeline is saying, like doing the videos before the week is kind of like a preview, and and it's kind of like um, I probably can make the videos faster as well because those I think looking back at the week there were some Nine of Hearts moments, as far as like relationships, people breaking up. There was Ray J and his wife. They got a divorce, or they filed for divorce, or divorce rumors. Just within the week. So there's like little Nine of Hearts things that happen throughout the week. I think. So I was thinking maybe we should do the videos in the beginning of the week. But yeah, so for me, as far as like the Nine of Hearts, I spent a lot of money. I got a new home this week as well, so
oh,
kind of a big investment.
are you still in You're still out in California, right?
I am. I
Okay.
am. I am. And then also we kind of left off talking about Judas. I think was gosh, Fred Hampton. I believe he was or is a Nine of Hearts, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see when his birthday actually is. But we left off talking about giving, giving to people, donation. A lot of times we talk about his birthday is August the 30th.
That's a 9 of Hearts day, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
he's the Virgo. So we left off talking about giving and donation, and kind of like the Eight of Hearts. I think the concept of a cup that runs over
Mm-hmm.
for the Eight of Hearts. The Nine of Hearts I think has that same type of universal. The nine is the like a new like the ending of something is the ending of something, but also the beginning of something. You know, so it's like the beginning of an end, or what is it? What is that? Would that be the same?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like it always. It's a cycle, it always regenerates itself, so it goes 1 through 9, then it goes back into one again, right? So kind of like the eights we were talking about last week, the eight is kind of like the cup that runs over. It has like so much to give, and with that, love is also financial as well, because it has the eight of diamonds and Saturn, like I know we look at those double numbers and that has like double Saturns or two twos or five fives. You really want to pay attention to those cards, because I think it is kind of like it gives it like that extra like the extra source of power. Like it's like a reflection. Like I'm comfortable with this tedious task of Saturn, so it's not like depleting you so much, but it's more of like a fulfillment almost, or there's a sense of fulfillment can come through it, or strength, a certain type of strength that comes from those cards that have those double numbers in Saturn. But kind of like the Eight of Hearts, as we were talking about, the Eight of Diamonds, Saturn, and Nine of Hearts is the seven, has like double sevens, so which I think it gives that power, and of course nines is a universal number, so they're here to give a lot more to others, so that sense of giving comes from it'll be replaced, like the 1 through 9, things will be replaced, like so like if you give kind of like in marketing or any type of thing, you give your products away, you advertise, kind of like marketing advertisement. Like I look at the cards as like a concept of business, life, anything, right? I think you see those same things, like people be like, don't reinvent the wheel. No, I think, I
Well, the
think
Hearts has the diamonds in Saturn, so it is that like double energy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I forgot all about, yeah, it has a 9 of diamonds in Saturn, which that is it, in the books it does say, and gosh, which book is it? Um, I'll think of it here in a second. I'll look at my phone. But in one of the books, the 9 of diamonds, it doesn't paint a pretty picture of the 9 of diamonds in Saturn. Actually, it's not the Arlene. Um, Sacred symbols, yeah, and sacred symbols. It doesn't speak too well about the 9 of diamonds in Saturn, but yeah, it has a double nine in Saturn. It talks about not investing to real estate, and things being pretty expensive. And then I look back, I was like, gosh, I got a place in the diamonds week. I don't know how good that is.
No, and not no. Think about it though. Like this is what you have to do though, Rashad, is change perception on that 9. Like if you don't, it's drag your ass. So you might as well you might as well look at it as a wish. You got a wish fulfilled. You got a
Yeah,
place. Like
it
just and leave
is.
it at that. You don't have to add anything to it. You got a place. It's a wish fulfilled. I had a huge wish fulfilled this week. It's crazy. I'll share the story. So I had, huh?
I was saying, Madeline, hey.
Oh, hey, I didn't see. So I'm on my phone, so I can barely see y'all.
Mhm.
Um, I had a bill that had to be paid, right?
Mhm.
And I had said probably around February, the end of February, that the bill will be paid. I didn't know how it was going to be paid, but I really did was like, I'm going to get this bill paid. I don't know how it's going to get paid, but it's going to get paid. I just put it out there and I let it go, which is hard for me to do. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, is to be able to do that, right?
Mhm.
And it was a significant amount of money. And last year, I got a letter stating that my student loans were going to be forgiven. And I was like, word. I even called. I was like, are you sure?
Well, that's what I should have did. I should have called. But keep
Like,
going.
is this really like legit? Is this a real letter? Like, is this a fake? So I called. They were like, yeah, your student loans have been forgiven. And I was like, sweet. And I said, am I going to get money back? They were like, have you paid any money? I was like, probably not. So I deferred. So I was like, whatever. That was like a year or so ago. And then they were like, it'll take, they didn't give me any kind of time frame. So at the beginning of this week, I said, dang, man, this bill that I got that I already like spoke that was going to get paid is coming up real soon. So hopefully somehow, some way it'll be paid. And I let it go. And I got a letter in the mail that officially my student loans had been forgiven. They will be taken off my credit report however long. It said nothing. It said nothing about a money. Like it just was, this is what it was, it'll take this amount of time to show up on your credit, blah, blah, blah. I was like, sweet. Rashad, the next day, there was a check in the mail for more than the money that I needed to pay off this big ass bill. I was like, oh my, I
So
damn near
you had been paying on your student loans?
Let's see.
Well, did you make any type of payment?
Apparently.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's what I was asking. I was like, you got a refund check, so you must have paid on it. So that's dope. Okay, I got you.
Not a lot, because it was a lot. I barely made them damn payments. I mean, I haven't been in school. I was 30 when I went back to school. So you're looking almost 15 years ago. And I've just been deferring and deferring.
Nah. Like you said, you invested, you let the money go, but it came back to you.
I swear to you, I opened up that check. I said, if this check is for the amount that I need for this bill, I'm going to fall over. And when I opened it up, it was over that amount. I was like, oh my God. So a wish fulfilled, you know what I mean? Literally a wish fulfilled. Cause I was like, if I didn't pay this bill, I would have got hit with a ton of interest. It would have hurt me terribly, like everything. So I'm so grateful. So that's how you have to with you getting that apartment, don't again, I got the place or I got the house, whatever it may be, then be like, let that be, because that's a big part of that 9 energy is to let go, to not be attached to it. I did not know that that's how this was going to come. I had this, I got that letter, the first one, I'm talking well over a year ago. And then all of a sudden in this week, so sometimes you just have to let it go and know that it'll come. And that literally was incredible.
Everyone said congrats on that.
And then on top of it, celebrating 9 years in business too. So it's like it's 9 energy. And you all know how much I've been working on that 9. Nines can be really, really rough. So in a 9 of Hearts week, I've celebrated 9 years. Today is my 9-year business anniversary. So all this 9 energy, I've learned that, when you change your perception on those cards, it really is wishes fulfilled. And it's just how you have to see it. Like if not, because they'll drag you. I mean, it's rough.
And happy birthday to
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, happy birthday to your anniversary. This the day that you started was the 7 of Spades day on this day 9 years ago, right?
Yeah, 7 of Spades 9 years ago. I got my business license. I became a business owner.
Yeah, so congratulations on that. And it has the 7 of Spades and Uranus.
Yep. And I literally started it on a whim. I didn't. I literally still to this day don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm still doing it.
And just to add to that, the Jack of Hearts is Jupiter to the 7 of Spades. So
no, it's Jupiter to the Ace of Spades.
Vertically.
Oh, you mean vertical?
Vertically, yeah.
Yeah, so that makes more sense because, like I said, I how it even got started with me doing it on my own. It's funny, my Libra moon doesn't like doing things by myself. So I initially went into business with somebody, and that actually, and not in a bad way, she just decided that she had too many things on her plate and decided like, hey, let's just, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. And I was like, dang, I don't really want to do it. I didn't want to do any of it actually, like on my own. I didn't want to have to do it. So it forced me to really like, okay, how do I do this without anybody, and start it from scratch on my own under my own name. And that's how, and even how because this was the original name was Kiss My Bath Essentials. Even that came to me on a whim. I almost damn near threw my newborn baby up when I came up with the name, because I was sitting there trying to come up with names, and I'm sitting here, I was literally nursing her. And as soon as I got done nursing her, all of a sudden the name came to me. I jumped up and almost threw the kid. Ran out to them and said, "What do you think of this name?" They were like, "What?" I was like, "I'm doing it." And I just did it. And that's how that kind of happened. So yeah, it was cool.
That is great. That's dope. I'll speak a little bit more to that. That deals with the Nine of Hearts for the week as well. Also, your Two of Diamonds and Pluto. Of course, you're talking about that moon card, but you have some twos and Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Pluto. So, but hello, Madeline. Was there anything that you want to add or update us on your trip?
Where is Madeline?
Love your hat. That is a dope hat.
No, where is
That is so
she?
dope.
So I am sitting in the Panama City airport because my flight was overbooked on a Seven of Spades day. So my faith is being tested in a really big way. And now I'm waiting for a ride to my hotel that I'll stay in at the night. And now I'll fly to LA tomorrow and have a layover for hours and then go to Vegas. And I'm kind of I don't know. I waited for 6 hours for the flight, but I'm like, what are you gonna do? Spirits got away. Like, what are you gonna do?
Wow.
So I'm sitting here and they charged my phone a little bit and gave me internet while I'm sitting here. I was like, oh, let me see if I can listen to the show. And I was like, oh, I can be on the show. So here I am. So that's what really happened. And I'm practicing faith and not being irritable. But, it's just like, I'm like, what? Really? That's what's going to happen? Really? I'm going to LA tomorrow? I'm going to, thank God I have the hat. I mean,
Yeah, because it's raining out here today. I don't know about tomorrow. And speaking of, that's funny you say that, because that is a part of the Seven of Spades and Uranus for the Nine of Hearts. And also the Queen of Spades is the emotions, not being irritable, having to have faith, especially with Uranus. Sometimes we associate that with travel, long distance travel. Also, the Gemini or Mercury position can be about travel. The new Neptune as well is more like foreign lands, the way that I kind of see it sometimes. So it may be more distant travel, or maybe a different culture, people or association, or travel by water. Actually, I had the privilege to give a reading to an Indian astrologer who I need to follow up with, of course, using the Six of Hearts, my Six of Hearts, which I have challenged with that, right? But
you guys go deep. I'm really learning how deep those Six of Hearts go.
but yeah, the Seven of Spades. But I gave a reading to an Indian astrologer who had Mars Neptune, and he and his dream was traveling by boat, and that was kind of dope because he had some stations in Neptune as well. So yeah, that was really dope. Giving that reading, but anyways, but the Seven of Spades and Uranus is most definitely traveling, and maybe some hardships or issues, and keeping a smooth temperament within the Nine of Hearts week, right? Controlling your emotions.
Yeah, and a bunch of, like how you said, Gina, some stuff came in that I was not thinking was coming in. That I'm like, wow, I must have prayed for that harder than I thought, because boy, look what happened. So I'm in the midst of receiving some surprises myself.
It's
Hence why I bought a purple hat.
Yeah.
That's a dope hat. I love that.
Yeah. No, I love
It's
it.
handmade. It's handmade by one sister made it and the other one put the stuff on it. And that's kind of why I end up having to buy things when I run into these great girls that are at farmers markets doing things like this. There's no way I can't say I'm totally supporting that. And I definitely liked the green one and the black one, but when I put this on, they're all like, no, you got to wear the purple one. And I get talked into these things, and then I walk away like, I just bought a purple hat. Like, what the hell? Like, Madeline, can you be bigger? Can you be bigger? I mean, seriously. So I just decided I'm trying to be a flower or something. I don't know.
Well, it's funny. Like that's what we were talking about before you got here. I did a show this weekend, and it's Spirit Fest. So it was lots of crystals, lots of
Oh, nice.
yeah, and I didn't do it for the cards. I did it for my products. So, and I'm the same way. I shopped today. Like I always go and shop the vendors, and I do a lot of barter and trading. So I got like some stones. I got a massage. And then I give away stuff. I'm all big. Like I gave the lady who squeezed me into the show some stuff. So yeah, I'm all about that. Like I go to the farmer's market every week here, and I buy stuff. That's where I started. I literally started my business at a farmer's market. So I'm all about it.
Yeah, so did I. That's where I started growing with the seasons, was at a farmer's
Yep.
market back in Boonton. Yeah, totally. And what happened was I walked into the farmer's market and it was this really pretty purple dress that was just kind of like flowy. So I said, you know what? I'm going to pick that up on the way out. Could you package that for me? And I bought that. And then that just started the whole freaking thing with the purple shit. Once I bought the purple dress, the earrings, I was just like, oh boy, she's getting done up. So... But so yeah. So what do you think, Rashad? You want to have lunch in LA tomorrow?
Yeah. What time do you get here? Or
I think I'll be there around 12:30.
like that? Well, I'll probably be at work. I got assigned.
Oh, okay, good.
I was supposed to be off. I thought I was going to be off. So the network that I work with, as far as the schools, they actually have tomorrow off. But certain schools actually will be going in tomorrow. But so I'll see. I mean, I may call out. Just depends. I'll talk. But depends on how long you hear. How long is your layover?
I'll text you in the morning when it sees if I'm really on that flight. I mean, God only knows what's going to really happen. I could be getting abducted. Like 4 or 5 hours, something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's a long time. Yeah, I mean, if
No fucking kidding. And I did another one today for 6 hours. I'm like doing some kind of like, I don't even know, like stupid pet tricks for what? I'm like, okay, I'm smiling.
the last time I had a layover was when I rode with Frontier. Never again. I hate them. But I don't want to get too off track.
Yeah, go back to the 9. No, let's go back to the 9 of Hearts week. Happy to see your faces. Once they tell me I'm getting a ride, I'm peacing out. But I just thought I'd come and say hello.
Well, get home safe. Safe travels.
Oh yeah. You know, I want to touch on that 10 of Hearts stuff. That 10 of Hearts thing has been really loud. I've been reading that book, Gene. I brought it with me, Play Your Cards Right, to the dance and stuff like that. And I really turned some people onto this card game. And they're like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, let's get serious about this, because this is what's really up. You know, all this other stuff is kind of silly. This is giving us a basic template. But in my own, like, Pluto or whatever, like 10 of Hearts thing, I was reading about how in the 10 of Hearts, there's that insecurity or that way that you don't want to go out. And I'm going to totally tell on myself, because I sort of do that, but what really happens is Miles does that, my mirror, the other king of diamonds, and I am so mean to him about it. Like, I'm like so mean. Like ew to his poor 6 of Hearts self. Like ew mean, right? Because like I want him to be strong too, so I don't have to go by myself. Now, I'm not a Libra moon, I'm an Aries moon, but I still like company. You know, I like to dance, whatever. So I've just been really thinking about how that 10 comes in from the 9, and the way you have to really build yourself confident and secure and go forward. You know, like you have to let whatever ended or whatever happened in your 9 happen and stand in new ground, you know. So that's a thought I had going from the 9 to the 10.
Well, I think what helped me a lot with the 9s is when 3 of them transform into 10s. So that, and I talk a lot about that all the time, because it really made me see it again from a different perspective, which is a big part of the 9s, letting go of, because I mean, Rashad knows we were in class together, the ending, the disappointment, I'm like, oh, this is terrible, you know? And so I was able to kind of re-look at them and see them from a different place. I know the 9 of Hearts doesn't transform into a 10, it transforms into a spades, but the fact that 3 of the 9s do transform into 10s, it makes you see that, you know, when you can let go, when you cannot be attached, that you really do open yourself up for more, because that is what the 10 essentially is, one with your higher self. So and the nines teach us maturity. They teach us to grow. They teach us to let go. And to let go is by far how you really mature. You're not holding on to something. You're not attached to it. And I think that brings a lot of maturity and then an opportunity again, because the tens are an increase, an expansion, an accomplishment, a success. So when you can release things and not be attached to them, or give them without that, expectation, and just let it go, you really do. Then it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. You get an opportunity to expand, you get an opportunity to increase. But what happens is we tend to stay stuck on what was letting go. We don't want to, allow it to be free, or free ourselves, really. And then we can, I don't say you really miss things, but you may, again, have a harder time focusing on what is actually coming, because we're so stuck on what was ending. So it's really all about changing how you look at it. And it for me, at least, has changed, my life, essentially, because I have those two nines in my spread, and I have to see it that way. And then I even look at the vertical cards to my nines, and I'm like, see, I've been tripping this whole time. I got it. It's solid energy. So my biggest lesson with that is when I just allow things and not try to hold on and control, it actually works out in my favor.
Yeah, I think for the 10 of diamonds, you're talking about the 10 of diamonds and her 10 of diamonds in Pluto. I mean,
Well,
10 of hearts. I'm sorry, 10 of
and then
hearts.
if you look at the tens, two or three of them have nines in Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
So there, that's a big part. That is interesting to me. That I think it's the 10 of spades has a 9. I know the 10 of diamonds has the 9 of hearts, and so it's just those two. They have the nines in Pluto. But even that was, I looked at the, okay, the 10 of diamonds is the good luck card, or the, fortunate energy. But damn, it has a 9 of hearts in Pluto. That's rough, So, but again, when they aren't attached to things, when they are, when they give from that overflow, they give from that universal energy, and they really do then can attract more things to them. So I can see why it can be a good luck or an fortunate energy, because again, when they're not holding on, when they're not, especially emotionally, they really do open up themselves to experience that increase, that opportunity, because really it all comes from the inside out anyway. So if you're disappointed, if you're holding on, if you're sad, if you're, attached to things, you limit yourself. You're telling the universe, you're telling God's spirit that you don't trust that this is actually the best thing for me. And now you hold yourself to that. And I really feel like you can block your blessings, because you'll miss what actually could be coming for you.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like I was saying earlier, it's the ending to, it's the beginning. What? How does it's the beginning of an end. Well, however you say that.
You can get that,
Ending
kid.
of one in the beginning of a new situation, right? Ending of one in the beginning of a new situation. I gotta look that up for it. But yeah, but the concept is there. We all get the concept, right? The concept is fresh. The concept is fresh. But the way I say it may not be how everybody else say it. But that's a Gemini. That's why I was coming up. Well, me, 3 of diamonds. That's why we're coming up with our own words, our own ways. Look at Trump. It's like, this shit don't even make sense. Like, all right, this is how we're going to do this. I got you. I was listening to Aquarius this week in her class. She was talking about the spiritual spread and the spiritual spread versus the life path spread, and which one is that particular card's like, I guess you can say, where are they comfortable at, what kind of looks to them as a person more. And I was debating myself. I was like, is it the chaos spread, which is what y'all see in front of us, or is it the spiritual spread? But if you look at it, spiritual spread is still following you, because that's your supportive karma, or what supports you. But I had to go back and forth which one is which. But because I see both, but which one is like the main driver of that person, that personality. Not say personality, because some people are gonna be like, oh, the personality is the planetary ruler card, But just for me, that I see the Mercury and that Uranus card, just for all the 3 of diamonds, just out there in society. And I pray for them because it's a rough time right now for us.
I was telling my friend last night that the threes are probably some of the cards that need to have readings and have insight, because that energy is rough. I mean, it's extremely, it needs an outlet. I feel like because we know if it's not creating, it's worrying. There's really no in between.
And we're talking, and when I say that, I'm talking about like Donald Trump, P. Diddy, um, Bill Cosby is a three of diamonds. So it's like the prominent ones right now don't have it good in the spotlight. But it is, all of them need a reading right now. Or they should have had one. Or they should have had one years ago. But I did say that the three of diamonds, I don't look at the United States spread, but when I do, it's because something is correlating or there's something that I see or feel between that energy and everyone. And definitely for the three of diamonds, I think around 2020, 2019, I was writing that just beware, just being in the spotlight, and a lot of gossip around you because we was in the sun that particular year. So if you know that we're going to be heading to the 10 of diamonds or into the Holy Cross or Holy, what Nina calls it.
Oh yeah. I know
The mystic triangle. So we was going into that pattern of the mystic triangle, so gaining a lot of attention, and especially being in the sun, you got legal things that could take place as well. So me, myself, I seen what was going on in my life. So I just knew I just figured it was going to be like that for a lot of three of diamonds. So after that, you seen Bill Cosby, now you see P. Diddy, and all these particular people popping in and out. So that's, when I do look at the United States spread, it's because I may want to see something that deals with a particular energy. But it has to be, because if you want to look at this as like a science, like I said, it has to be tested, tried, and I have to see a pattern, a real life pattern a lot of times before I just say, this is what's going on. So I try not to say, this is what's going to happen to America too many times unless I see the pattern myself continuously, even going back in history, and what you can see a lot of times as well whenever you're going through the spreads. But
go back,
to
go back, to go back and look at different things that happened and played out. You can see, like you said, it's patterns, it's cycles and stuff like that. I don't look at the United States spread myself either. Every once in a while, if we're looking for something specific, but when it comes to us individually, I don't read it from the United States spread.
I know personally, I be having too much going on. Just personally me, I just don't be having the time because my personal spread, my weekly, that joint be on point, and my yearly is
right.
Crazy.
That's the bread. That's the whatever the saying is that I can't think right now.
We both can't get it right now. What is that? Is that the three of spades, the two close to Neptune? What's the seven of close to Mercury?
Yeah, I'm tired. Like I haven't worked a weekend in a minute. So I didn't get to sleep in. I was up. I was peopling for 2 days straight. That's a lot, y'all. No, but when you go back to talk about the pure spread real quick. The pure spread to me, because I'm actually in the pure spread right now at 44, right? So it's your soul, because I was talking to another friend the other day, and she's like, you're in the womb. You're back in the womb, and you have an opportunity to really like do that internal work. And I had someone else reference it as your soul, that's your soul essence, that's your soul spread, and it's pure. Right. And I think the only time that you, obviously on a yearly basis, the only time you're ever in that spread is when you are 44. Now you can have it for a 7-week cycle. It can show up as in a weekly cycle. And I've paid attention when I've been in the spirit spread on a week basis. And it was almost like kind of having like a spiritual awakening, or you really kind of you get a lot of insight, especially if you're aware that you're in that spread, right? You have a better idea of what may be playing out. But this year in itself, like for me and anybody else who's, 44 or close to it or have just come out of it, it really is like going back. What does I think because at this age, especially when you look at what is happening astrologically for you too, because you're dealing with that or Uranus opposition, things kind of like the things that you may have thought were going to come or the people and they don't. And really you have to kind of look at it as whatever, if things are being removed, people are being removed, it is so that you can get back in touch with your spirit, with your soul. What did you know what I mean? And when you're at this age, it's like, who the fuck am I? You know what I mean? Like, what am I like? Because you're at that age, like, what am I doing? This is why it's that midlife crisis time, because you're like, people go back to school, people get divorced, people have a surprise baby, people do all kinds of weird stuff in this period because it's like, what does my soul want? What does my spirit want? So at 40, the pure spread, whenever you're sitting there, whether it's a weekly basis or in a weekly spread, or when you are 44, you really are doing a lot of soul work. And you can really kind of, you really get an idea, I think, of who you are and what it is that you are here for. And it gives you, because then at 45, you're going to be reborn. Now, this is the only time you sit back in your birth card spread, your natural spread. So now you have all this experience and all this wisdom. You've gone through 44, you've been back in the womb, and now you get to be reborn. And now you kind of get to be reborn with this essence of what my soul wants, what my spirit wants, what I'm here for. And now you kind of almost get a chance to start over because you're being reborn. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, and also looking at the like your challenging karma card and your supportive karma cards, or kind of like your north node, south node type of things. I think whenever you're looking at your soul, you're looking at like your past life sometimes, so you know how they kind of say like one is kind of like what you're comfortable doing in your past life, something. And now that you're born, you're here, I think this is more like the chaos spread, we're in chaos. But when you say like you're reborn, it's kind of like that innocent child, that where everything is almost pure, perfect, I think if you can, if babies could talk or speak, and if they, I think there is a theory that at a certain age, as far as the baby's memory kicks in, but we'll never know, right? But I think sometimes when kids get older, I think some children, like, they talk about their past life, so it's like just fascinating, like, just to think or question, like, if after they're just born, like, do they know where they came from? That'll be kind of cool.
They
right?
do, because they don't have anything clouding it.
Mm-hmm.
They're open. They're not, they're operating from that subconscious. And so I think that's when they, because I've seen, shows or documentaries where it is like, my son told me about how he was this and this,
Right.
and he's 3, so I absolutely believe that they can. That's definitely. And I think too, because after you turn 45, after you leave your life spread at 45, you then sit in I think your challenging karma card or your supporting karma card. I can't remember which one, because it's all it is. You just go from karma card to karma card in the plates, and which makes sense, because when I think about it, when I don't have a challenging karma card or supporting karma card, but you connect them to the north node and the south node in astrology, I believe the next access of the nodes will leave the Aries Libra and move to Pisces Virgo Pisces, and that's my nodes. So it makes sense that at 46 your nodes are probably, they may be reversed from when you were born, but you're still on that axis, which would then heighten that you're leaving now your south node and really operating in the essence of the north node, which would line up with the cards and the spreads as well. So
At 45, it's the chaos spread, so everyone is back into,
no earth.
yeah. So So your challenging karma card, but your supportive card is yourself, though. So that is one thing, a tip about that particular 45 spread. Your supportive karma card is yourself, because you talk about like being reborn and those things. So that's what kind of teed me as far as that process of birth and rebirth and knowing your purpose, because I look at this a lot of times outside of the personality as far as like purpose driven, and activities. So I feel like we're programmed to a certain extent. I think life is a test of principles a lot of times, and we're supposed to be operating at the highest principles, right? So these laws, these inevitable laws, something that we protrude, we speak, talk, and walk it without even thinking, so whenever you're looking at yourself at your personal birth card, just the way you speak or someone speak, once you start studying the cards and seeing the mannerisms, you can be like, okay, I see that.
Oh,
Okay.
no, you're right. I had my neighbor today was a 5 of hearts, and she was a trip, man. We had a blast the whole time.
The answers dramatic, they can be theatrical at times.
Funny, older lady, very intuitive. But so we talked a lot about. I actually, spoke to her about the cards. And kind of give her a little bit of insight on her energy. And I mean, at one point she almost cried just because we were talking about her family and stuff like that. And how just actually we're talking about her granddaughter. And it was really cool. She was a lot of fun. She was fun. Because I had somebody come and film for content, and she's like, you know how hard it was for me not to photobomb your video? I was like, you're a whole grown ass lady and you want to jump in this video? But that's such a 5 of hearts. She's such a playful, she's sad 5 of hearts. So very kid-like, very fun. I was like, oh, we would get in a lot of trouble.
And her card is one of her rulers is Jupiter. So Mercury, Venus, the 7 of clubs. They also say that the 5 of hearts is a disruptor.
She's like, it took everything me not to photobomb your video and jump in. Like, what? Yeah, but she was cool. It was fun to have her as my neighbor this whole weekend and just chopping it up with her.
And then the 5 of clubs supports it as well. They can talk. Can talk. But but in her spread she has the 9 of hearts. So Mercury, Venus, Mars. So what
and that makes sense with them when you think about their energy again, going back to that 9. There's that sense of being free for them. I told her, it's like, you're a gypsy energy. You're meant to be free. And then she's kind of what she does now. She travels and does these shows. I was like, it's perfect for you.
I think that sense of freedom, when I was reading about the 9 of hearts, it was talking about the 5 and the 4, right? As far as it being patterned on the card, right? And it was saying the will of man, but also rising above that, seeking something higher, higher principles, higher laws, Also, I think, like you said, a sense of freedom as well, because they do have to live by the law, of higher wisdom. So I think that freedom also for them going out and helping people, not limiting themselves into one particular place, because it is a universal number, So when I see nines, it's also I kind of like see a long journey, something maybe a traveling or a separation of some kind, I think Will was talking about the 7 of hearts and the 7s, and I referred to it as being also like the I said the drunken sailor, he was going into it. It was not like that, but what I was saying was also that the drunken sailor, I think, is the 7 of hearts. I refer to it because it goes out and it explores, and it shares the wisdom that it has gained from internal knowing itself, So the internal wisdom from it being, sometimes aloof or by itself, or separated from everyone else, that isolation that happens is used for wisdom, and they go out and can spread that wisdom or be the drunken sailor. just be out flirting with everybody, So, but there's a huge amount of internal wisdom that comes out with that card of knowing itself. But also, the Nine of Hearts doesn't know value too much, it says, but it gains that value and that wisdom along the way. And I think it comes from the sevens as well. It has a seven of clubs and Mercury, seven of diamonds that supports it. So that journey and a lot of the wisdom they have comes from a knowing of itself and wanting freedom and love as well. I think the sevens want to mirror a lot of times, so they want love as much as they can give it. I think so knowing value, knowing how they're value, knowing their value, and knowing how people are valuable. I think there's always a reflection that is wanted as well, because they give a lot. We always talk about the seven of diamonds, nine of hearts. Like, you get money, you won the lotto ticket, but you look up and it's a homeless man standing in front of you, and you don't got no choice but to give it. So those are like the things where the will of God is happening. It's like you went out, but God had another plan for you, and that's to give in some type of way. So you can't limit yourself or limit your task with the nines. So I think one is supposed to explore the world in some type of way. Go out and reach the four corners of the earth, right?
Yeah, the nine of hearts and that seven of diamonds axis, if you will, because it's just the flip flop back and forth, right? I think it because they go from the Saturn, Venus, Saturn, Venus. So nines and Saturn tend to be a very difficult placement, right? Because we tend to resist, but we also have to look at Saturn as a helper, a healer. There's a lesson that's being learned too when Saturn's involved, and I honestly do think when you can let go, you're saying, I have faith. So like, I win the lottery, right? And like you said, there's a homeless man here. So if I give him this winnings without, like, what, you need this more than I do. Maybe I was blessed to win this, and you're standing right here next to me because you need it more than I do. You let that go, and I bet you the universe is going to give you even more than what was even attached to that ticket. And it may not even be in financial ways. It could be in other blessings, right? I think we get caught up on, I need that money back, or if you give somebody something, I need that exact back, but that's not how it works. I think that, but if we're so attached to something, we'll miss the other blessings that we're actually given in return of us giving to others. But if you give with that string and you give with that attachment and expectation for that exact thing to come back to you, you'll miss all the other good stuff that was been poured into you, in different ways.
No, yeah, always. I was just listening to someone, or just seen someone earlier, and they were speaking about how someone stayed with them, for 3 months or whatever. This is something viral, so it's not no one personal business. But they were talking about how they just had let someone stay with them for 3 months. This girl actually somehow had like a big refund check or something happened for her, and she spent the money on the car, for herself, and she didn't pay the girl for the 3 months. Sometimes I've let people stay with me before, and sometimes I really didn't care, and it was really the other part of somebody was saying, oh, you shouldn't let them do that. You shouldn't let people stay with you. You shouldn't do that and that. But then I always think about, like, if I got the ability to give, if I'm here paying my rent anyways, and it's for a month, 2 months, I don't have a problem, and you don't pay me, that's fine, because I know what it feels like not to have nowhere to stay, and you don't know what you're doing for that person. I think when it lights up your day, or it makes you feel good to help people, that's something you can't really measure. You're not getting that in, like, the return of, like, money, physical money, but it's like a spiritual wellness, like it hopefully it makes you feel good, to know that you can help somebody without, needing to give them needing for them to give you anything, and then they turn around and they get blessed after that, and they're able to like change their life around. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just a different person. I know you can't do that with everybody. You got to have boundaries. But, there's a thin line, between love and hate. That's just first thing that came to my mind. It's a thin line between someone using you, and you giving to them. I do understand that you do have to have your boundaries. But I think those are the times where, like they say, only God can judge, what's
Well,
really
for the wrong reason, then yeah, you know what I mean.
yeah.
You have to look. What are you giving for? Like you said, are you giving it for because you are expecting something to come back to you in return, or are you giving for because this does feel good? And I mean, I've been like that my whole life. Like, and I got more with the business. Like, I've had people reach out to me and be like, like if a customer was to come to the booth this week and I mean, like they're dealing with something and they just don't have the funds, I will give you a jar of this cream. I do not, you know what I mean? Like, I would rather you use this. I know it's going to help you and I'm not worried about it. And I don't expect anything in return. It feels good because what's going to happen is it's going to help you. And then you're going to come back and tell me. And that, when I hear from people, I had a lady yesterday who's been rocking with me since a show I did 9 years ago. And she literally just came to see me and tell me thank you. And that I think we actually got her testimony on video. And so, I mean, I've had people reach out to me one lady was going through cancer and, she was on limited income. And I was like, give me your address. I'll send you a jar. I don't like, the money is the what comes on the back end. And I think that's why, because I don't know what I'm doing, right? Like, that's why I've been in business for 9 years, because I will give. I love it. It does feel good. And that is a big part of the 9 of Hearts, if we're going to tie it in, because it's a universal giver. It's a universal energy. It's a universal love. And it actually can be very healing when you are caught up in the loss or you're emotionally disappointed. One of the best remedies, at least I'll speak just for myself, I guess, is to give. It feels good to help other people and to do it without the, like, I don't want anything. I don't even want you to buy my product later on. I just wanted to help you. Like that to me feels incredible, to know that something I made or something I created could help somebody else. That in itself is rewarding. And don't get me wrong, you need money to survive, but it will come. It will always come in some way, shape, or form. Because, I'm not attached to, oh, you got to pay, or, make sure you get someone else to buy it, or whatever you do. I don't care. Just, I know this will help you.
No, and going back to Judas, the movie, Fred Hampton, his birthday was August the 30th. His slogan was, "I do this for the people." It wasn't based upon his personal wealth. He said he'll die for the people. I think when he was in he was kind of speaking to himself, right? And they say that the law of 9 is an inexorable one that always accomplishes its goal. So his goal was to create a brotherhood, for the people. It was about giving back. So there's this the slogan, "Love your neighbor as you would love yourself." So he loved everyone. He didn't treat anyone different based upon their race. And at that time, there was everyone that was having a race war: Hispanics, Black people, white people, everyone. But as long as you was for the people, as long as you was for the freedom of the people, he was there for you. So he was a different type of revolutionary. I think the 9s are revolutionists. In order to change a system, you got to destroy it. And so I think the main goal of the government, is to take care of people. I think that is their main objective, what they should be doing. That's why they should be taking taxes. I live in LA. There's so many people homeless on the streets. It's ridiculous, yo. It saddens my heart. And the mayor's a 6 of diamonds. I was saying before she got in office, she's going to have to do something about homelessness. She has to tackle homelessness because she is a 6 of diamonds, has a 5 of hearts in Pluto. That's homelessness. Her, I wouldn't say, but her fame or what she'll be known for, if she tackles that and she's successful at doing that, and I hope it's not just for just to say that someone did this, but she will be accomplished. And then she has a 9 of hearts for her in the moon as well. So giving back and taking care of people in some type of way, I think is law. Saturn. That is something that she has to do. Hopefully, where her heart is. But going back to August 30th, Fred Hampton, that's what he seen his life was for. He said he'd die for the people. He see himself. He don't see himself. What did he say? He don't see himself dying for anything else but for the people. I forgot the exact quote. I thought I wrote it down. And speaking of like the inexorable law, he was saying like you can murder a liberator, but you can't murder the liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder the revolution. You can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom. So they know that there's this higher law that has to be accomplished no matter what.
Yep. Interesting how you said brotherly love, and what does it transform into? The 2 of spades. The card of brotherly love. So can't even make this stuff up. And he had that, and that's the thing. There's doing it for the people, for that. Like that's the thing. And it again, I think too, with the way the 9 of hearts is laid out, because it does transform into the 2 of spades, you can actually create stronger bonds, stronger relationships without friction, relationships based on true friendship, true, respect and cooperation and compromise when you cannot be attached. You know what I mean? When you're not attached, when you are in a flow, like that is absolute key to that energy. But if you have an attachment or expectation, that's when those partnerships are friction. They're not harmonious. There's I did this for you, you have to do this for me. Or, 2s can have control. 2s can have, there's that losing yourself. There's codependency to that. But see, the 9 transforming into the 2, you got to each have your, to come together in a much more harmonious way, in a brotherly love type of way.
Yeah, and it says 9 of hearts has friction as well, especially when it comes to business, sharing resources and those things. And that I think that's one reason it could be getting attached, being too attached, to control or power, within their relationships, especially has a very powerful cards, right off the bat. I think Will slightly mentioned last week because I was like, no, we really haven't gotten into that. But the kings, queens, and jacks, being personality cards a lot of times, and something that, like I was saying, like these cards are higher principles. So the queens and kings, other than another person outside, it's more of you also, as far as your responsibility and growing into those positions, growing into that power, and rather be opinionated. Or is judgmental, self-judgmental, but has a queen of spades, a jack of clubs. So those are cards of leadership. So you walking into some sort of leadership or power, maybe somewhat young, So from 0 to 12, then 13 to 24, 25, So by 25, 27, there's some type of leadership that you grow into. How old was Fred Hampton when he died? No, actually, he died at 21.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Could you imagine if he could have?
Crazy.
That's crazy. He was that young for real?
A lot of revolutionists in that age, like we're behind. This lady I talk to all the time, she used to tell me all the time, like, your generation is behind.
We're lazy.
What are y'all doing? And it's true, and I think it comes from them killing the ego and killing the people, because after that you just have complacency that happened for everybody. I think the black leaders of that time, for every race, like I said, Fred Hampton, he united Mexicans and people from all type of nations, Irish. Like there was a sense of unity, so there was a rising of everybody, even genders. You have the feminist movements and all those things that started to come about. So you have these concepts that was started by very young people at that time. So these people were looked at as leaders and as the new breath of fresh air during their hay time. And when you take a breath away from people, you have nothing else left except for complacency. Again, speaking about, so Saturn is the taxer, so this law, there's these inevitables. Saturn is going to tax the efforts of the nine of hearts. Speaking of taxes, right? Gosh, what's his name? The actor who was supposed to pay his taxes, but he didn't. What was his name? Anybody know his name? No, not Wesley Snipes. This just happened this week.
Oh.
What was his name? I don't know. I thought I wrote it down. Maybe I didn't. He played in the movie. Gosh, what was the movie he played in? When he was a singer and he was based in Tennessee, and the white girl was his girlfriend. Gosh, somebody help me out. Can I get a lifeline? Somebody watching. But anyway, he was supposed to pay his taxes this week, and he didn't. He was saying that it is unjust that America. Terrence Howard, that's his name, Terrence Howard. He was saying it's unjust for America to make former slaves to pay their taxes. If you look at the nine of hearts in the definition within the nine of hearts, it says it is like the law of the government that taxes you.
Well, they have a nine of diamonds in Saturn. So you have to pay up. You have to let go of what's valued. It's not, releasing things that were valuable to you at one point in time. Now, taxes, how valuable are they? But that's interesting. What's his card?
I was going to see.
I remember we've talked about him before a long time ago, I think, but I don't remember his card.
His birthday is March the 11th, so it's actually coming up. March. That is the.
What is that card?
Guess the card.
Queen of Diamonds. That makes so much sense.
I know it. That's why I couldn't help but laugh when I seen it. The Queen of Diamonds, as you can see, has the Mercury, Venus, Jupiter. The Jupiter card is the Nine of Hearts, and the karma card for that is the Nine of Diamonds, the support of karma. And one reason, as far as about that law of taxation, I think it comes with the Nine of Hearts is it's because the Nine of Diamonds, as we was just saying earlier, is that the nine of diamonds, you have to let money go. You have to know the flow of money. You have to give to receive. And I think the government and I think laws in general is based upon metaphysical law. I don't think none of those things are. I'm a three of diamonds. I think Noble Drew Ali was three of diamonds, FYI. But I don't think none of those things are separate as far as me and my personal think process as a three of diamonds. So, and understanding value, understanding the law of the land, higher consciousness of values, I think goes into my theory as well, and as far as the productivity and creating something, there's always the law of exchange that happens. And I think that's diamonds. That's where the value is, the law of it. There's always a law of exchange, in order to get anything, you have to give something. And to live in America, there is a taxation. I don't agree with it and how they do it, but to work and to give, to take, there's a law of exchange. You're going to take from this earth, so what are you giving back to it as well? And I think the government takes advantage of these principles, these higher laws of society, these cards, or whatever it may be, how we want to define it. There is a law, right? And the Nine of Hearts is supposed to know that law, even though it doesn't right offhand. It learns and it gains that law. It's Saturn, right? It doesn't know, so it learns that law eventually. And it can go into spending extravagantly, wasting that money and not respecting the money and the wealth, and not respecting where it goes. And when I say government, the Queen of Spades, Queen of Spades, Jack of Spades, King of Spades is the law in the government for me. The Queen of Spades is the BITCH, the head court lady in charge. So she makes the law. So you have to follow it, unfortunately. And the Queen of Diamonds has it in Neptune. Usually they're aware. Go ahead.
Oh, I was the one. You're good.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting. That came up this week with him, was the essence of taxation and the Nine of Hearts week with the Seven of Diamonds, right? And another thing that came up was Ray J and his girlfriend. And his girlfriend had a divorce, or maybe. So I wanted to look at her cards, and we can probably take a look at her spread. Do you know her name is Princess? Do you know her birthday? I can look it up.
Yeah, no.
Princess Ray J. Age. She's 39.
Isn't Ray J a ten of diamonds? Isn't he a 10 of diamonds? Maybe? I don't remember.
January the 17th. The 16th is the Jack of Diamonds.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
So that means he's a 10 of diamonds?
January what? 17th?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a 10 of diamonds.
So, news of divorce for him. And
Nine of Hearts is his Pluto card.
Right.
Wow.
The Nine of Hearts is his Pluto card.
Wow. And this happened in this week, you said?
Well, the news came out as of this week.
Yeah.
I don't know as far as the official court paperwork and all those things. And that's one reason I do maybe look at the United States spread or these weekly things, because I think there's a universal energy. And I think my theory that even in astrology, when you have these exaltations and these themes of celebrities, and this is one thing, my theory as well, maybe even astrologers, that these planetary movements and these cards are a testament to a higher power for me, and to something that you can't control. And God is creating a show and explaining to us how these things work, and we have absolutely no control. You can't control your astrological placements. No matter how much you predict it, it's going to happen. So,
from what I've gathered in the studies that I've had, you have your placements. Like that is what it is, right? But I think too, like when we're looking at it from like collectively, like again, I don't look at the United States spread. It's just my own personal thing. But I do follow what week it is collectively. It's a 9 of Hearts week this week. Tomorrow starts a 10 of Hearts week, and on and on and on. Because again, what I just shared, what happened to me, in my own personal, I can look at my card, and I probably did look at my cards for the week, and I will actually look on the day that I got that check, what my card was, because I follow my own personal spread. My readings that I do are people. I do weekly readings for people. It's their personal weekly spread. I don't read the United States spread for people individually. If I'm going to read the United States spread, it's for the United States, because that's their spread. That's just me, But I look at it collectively. So the energy being a 9 of Hearts, and we know that can be a divorce card, right? But it really is just letting go. And maybe their relationship has fulfilled its purpose. And that's really all that's happening, right? And probably astrologically in both their spreads and in the cards, it's also that energy is there. What you do with it is up to you. Does every Nine of hearts mean you're going to get divorced? I've literally seen in people's spread have a nine of hearts in Pluto. They're still happily married. It's not always it's what you do with the energy. It's there. How are you going to move with it? How are you going to use it? Are you gonna, you know, hold on and make it bitter and make it ugly, or can you just let it go? And maybe with they actually, ideally, since it was in a nine of hearts week and it transforms to the two of spades, I think they have kids. They need to learn how to let go and co-parent, come together in a healthy working way to continuously raise their children together in a very harmonious way without the friction. But if they're gonna hold on, then it's gonna get ugly, it'll get nasty. That's the other side of that, because they're holding on to each other or holding on to the whatever it may be. So I think the energy is there. You do, that's like when I do the weekly readings, I'm not predicting stuff. I'm letting you know these are the cards you have. This is the highest of this is the lowest of this, and however you move through that energy. But it does help to know if you got a bunch of nines that, okay, knowing that I have a bunch of nines in my spread this week, I now know, okay, whatever may be playing out for me, because when you could have a nine shot in your spread and I could have a nine in my spread, but we live my life and your life are different. What may come
Yeah,
to
it's a pattern that you.
Right. What may come to an end for me may be completely different from what may be ending for you. Or my wish fulfilled may be completely different than your wish fulfilled. Right. So
Mhm.
again, I think it's about the energy is there. The planets and the energy is there. What you do with it that's what's, that to me is you co-creating with God, because you co-creating with that energy. But are you going to co-create in a happy, healthy, abundant way? Or are you going to co-create in the loss, disappointment, anger, frustrated way? You choose.
Yes, I don't know if for those that may be watching, but there's a thing called outwitting the devil. And he talks about these patterns that we create, you know. And it also goes into the cards as well. When you're looking at patterns, the way that you um, create a certain attitude around a certain energy. And it also goes into the cards. So that's why I say just because you are a certain card doesn't mean this card is going to play out like that card. Like you were saying earlier, there's a high and a low side. Is this person pattern selfish, greedy, rude, um, self-serving? Does the low parts of the nine of hearts, or are they giving? Are they philanthropic or whatever? They practice philanthropy as far as like giving in business and maybe real estate. The nine of diamonds doesn't. They say they shouldn't do real estate, but I think if they have somewhere where they can invest their money into to some type of business or into other things, I think that really helps them as well. Um, so there's different characteristics and different levels to these particular cards, and there's a certain pattern that you have built up and a certain attitude that you have as well. Especially with the nine of hearts, it has a queen of spades and jack of clubs. And it can have a very bad attitude, and it may indulge into things that it shouldn't as well after a matter of time. So they can have like obsessions with like sweets possibly as well. Um, so it's all about how that card uses those low modes, and the seven of clubs can be very defensive, debative a lot of times as well. So there's a low end and a high end whenever you're using these cards. And so it's based upon the pattern and what you have thought about it. But her card is a queen of clubs.
Oh,
So
well, they're
the queen of clubs means something about this.
karmically connected.
Mm-hmm.
So
So she's 39.
isn't she sitting in the sun at 39? Or does the Queen of Clubs sit in the sun at 39?
Yeah, I have to look at her weekly as well. Let me see her weekly. Oh yeah, I'm talking about. She's 39 on the light spread, and her weekly is 38. So she's about to go into her rebirth period, as we were just talking about, right? And about 1, 2, 3, 4 more weeks. So if she releases a statement, I would see something coming out in about 4 weeks. Maybe more about that as well. Probably as she enters that particular period, because then she's going to be in the Jupiter position. So
Also the 10 of diamonds.
yeah, so that goes into recognition, fame, if you want to call it that. And then 39, you said she's sitting where?
Do they sit, the Queen of Clubs sits in the sun. I think it's I thought it may be at 39, but I don't remember. I don't remember.
That's a few years before, because they got to go through the 8 of diamonds to get to the middle, right?
Okay.
So at 42, she sits in the sun.
42. Okay. Yeah.
So that's that other part of that fame and recognition as well, because you coming to the center from the sun. So when you talk about Jupiter and getting recognition and fame, that's part of the process, because you're going through the sun as well. But at 39, where did it go? I lost her. So she's displacing the 10 of clubs. Okay, so her Pluto would be me. Well, not me. The 5 of spades is displacing me. Her cosmic reward is the 5 of diamonds, which is the Venus. Mm-hmm. 5 of diamonds. You know what's funny about 9 of hearts? They say don't mix love and money. So that's one of the things is love and money. It's one of the things about the 9 of hearts. So and one of the things about the 9 of hearts is love and money. So of course, a divorce during a 9 of hearts week, love and finances would be in the middle of that. For her, her reward is the finances. So I don't know who's gonna win in this battle, but I ain't. Then, but she actually has the 9 of diamonds displacing the 7 of hearts as the lesson, cosmic lesson, so it could be issues or financial issues within the relationship. I don't want to say someone can be petty, but the 7 of hearts, 8 of hearts could be control issues, and someone not liking where and how somebody else could be possibly spending their money as well. But also the 9 of hearts would be the moon card. So divorce in the 9 of hearts, her yearly spread has the 9 of hearts in the moon. So, that's like one of those things, if you had to give a reading, it would feel weird, probably because me or Gina would have said something about a relationship. And not to say, that's why Gina said, like you said, you give the low and the high, so you know what to expect, So not to say that this isn't for you controlling or you can't do nothing about it, so I know it. But more or less saying it's preparation, more than anything. And also some people do plan out certain things around these particular things. And in one of the books, it speaks about the responsibility of people that read cards, because you never know how you can change someone's lives, so that I always look at that way as well. I would never would want to tell you to do something that's not in your heart. There's something that you're not going to do. And a lot of times, by the time you come to me, you asking for confirmation. By the time you get to me, you asking for confirmation anyway. Like,
I think honestly though, Rashad, a lot of people, they already know. They're just looking for confirmation, and they're already feeling it. Mm-hmm. You're already knowing, like, oh, but now you're like, so if someone's coming to me and they're married, but for the last 2 years, they've tried everything, they've gone to counseling, they've done this, they've done that, they've worked on themselves. And if they've got the 9 of hearts, the 5 of hearts, and, a couple other cards that could indicate something coming to an end, I would be like, this could potentially happen. I'm not going to say you're going to get divorced. I would never, ever put that on somebody, because again, like you said, you don't want to put something on someone. I would say if she has the 9 of hearts in the moon, it might be that you're emotionally letting go. that
Mhm.
could be where, because you also have to look at it. There's another person's spread as well,
Mhm.
that you would have to, it's also, be privy to, for that person. I would be like, you're letting go emotionally. Any attachments, disappointments, it's a release. Whether that shows up as letting go of your marriage, or if you are, because there might be deep down inside, it's not working anymore. You don't even probably feel emotionally connected to this person anymore. Then it is time to release. Will that show up as a divorce? That's up to y'all.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's really up to you. And personally, and I think people already know, you know, where they stand in that type of space. And then again, when they come for a reading, it is just to get that confirmation. And sometimes a divorce is necessary. Maybe this, again, your debt to that person, or y'all's, union has fulfilled its purpose for both of you. You probably went through some kind of personal death and rebirth, right? A lot of transformation. And a lot of times, you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I stayed for the kids, I stayed for this," but you were emotionally miserable. You weren't even connected to your partner, but you stayed and you stayed and you stayed, and eventually, if you don't do it, the universe will probably do it for you, because again, you fulfilled the wish. The relationship has fulfilled its purpose.
Yeah, and also you have to look at it. She has a five of spades. I don't know if you're looking at the spread wrong.
Mm-mm.
Spread 39. She has a five of spades, Pluto, and a five of diamonds as a reward. So that
She
has to be.
wants more. That's what
Mhm.
probably what it boils down to, is she wants more, isn't getting maybe fulfilled emotionally in some way, space, and it needs to make a change. Whether that change is her, you got to really, really probably watch her health, because this could cause a lot of changes within her health because of the emotions. Again, if she doesn't operate from that high side of that nine of hearts and release, that can actually be very detrimental to her health with that five of spades and Pluto. And that's the advice I would give. I wouldn't say go get a divorce. I would say you have to do some deep emotional healing for yourself. And if not, if you hold and suppress all of that, that then can probably affect your health. So take this energy of the nine of hearts and the five of spades and Pluto, go work out, go to the gym. You have to move it. You have to kind of, get it out, get physical, make those necessary changes so that you're not attached to any of that, because then I think that can, affect your health. That's what I would tell somebody if they have those cards.
Yeah, especially five of spades
Mm-hmm.
and Pluto, and with the three of diamonds. So you're gonna be experimentation probably with your health as well. Herbs,
Mm-hmm.
trying to seek other tools of spiritual wisdom. Has an eight of spades with the queen of clubs. So seeking expert opinion. Working in or maybe a workout group or around other women in some type of way, which the eight of spades is displacing her. Right. Nine of Hearts is one of the other things I was talking about. Power, I was talking about working with women isn't sometimes a good thing, but I think we kind of touched on it a little bit. But sometimes the Queen of Clubs also have issues with other women around. Sometimes that may be a power thing, but not to go off track with that. Because sometimes when you're looking at these cards, it's also good to know the sometimes the patterns and traits, because when speaking about maybe advice or working with other women, you may get I don't like women, I don't like this and that. And you're like, oh, okay, of course you don't. Right? Of course you don't. Do we got a spammer? Is this spam here?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's crazy.
Okay, we might start popping whenever there's spam around. You got something good going on, right? I invite the spam. Bring the spam. Give me the bots. Give me the views. Run it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but I said that because I was talking about the eight of spades and working with other women. But yeah, like you were saying, that five of spades, five of diamonds change. That, like you said, I would say like even like travel a little bit. Change the scenery, location. You may want to get away. Like you were saying, that nine of hearts. You want to move that energy around as well. I think I started yoga, extreme yoga, on this YouTube with the seven diamonds, and man, God, she killed me. I ain't gonna lie. That was a pretty intense workout. But if you look at it, you see, because the nines are intense, that's an intense energy, so if you don't get out, you don't have a change in scenery. And a lot of times I like the way that Aquarius said that sometimes what you have to give is too much for just one person, so maybe a little bit of separation so you can go out and supply the energy or use that energy in another type of way with more of in a group setting in some type of way may help you out as well. That can be the separation or divorce or those changes that, that we may speak of or speak to you about, so yeah, that I thought that was really interesting for all of that to have happened in a Nine of Hearts week for that particular cause. And on top of that, she has a five of spades, five of diamonds, nine of diamonds, nine of hearts, nine of clubs.
Oh, dang. Well, okay. So, when you really just at the highest of that, it's probably what she wants, to be honest with you. She wants to be free. And let's look at it from the nine of hearts. It's a wish fulfilled. She probably tried. She's probably tired. She's probably exhausted. She's probably tired of his shit. So, or whatever. I don't know these people. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, there's this sense of really having to let go. And she's 39. So that makes so much sense because she's about to go through that, or, those early 40s of the Uranus opposition. Sometimes that stuff starts to pop off before you get to the 41, 42, 43. It's preparing her. It really is preparing her. And if she can just let go, I bet you she's going to come out of this even better, and there's a sense of being free, not being attached. She wants more and but she has to give it to herself rather than look to someone else to give it to her.
Yeah, because it's an internal work with the nine of hearts, seven of diamonds, seven of hearts, you're not going to get the satisfaction from anywhere outside of you. It's always going to come from inside of you. That's why I said the sevens are a reflection, like as much as you're angry with someone else or they not giving you this or not doing something for you, what you doing for yourself?
Yep.
Like, what are you creating for yourself? What type of attitude do you have about yourself, for you to be so dependent upon someone else, so that's where those dependency issues can come from. Those sevens is wanting to be appraised for certain things. And that's one thing about the seven of diamonds and nine of hearts, even getting to that, because that's their connection with the seven of diamonds. They may want the accolades, but you may not get them. Like, you may be even point. It has a lot of queens. This nine of hearts has the queen of spades, jack of clubs, king of clubs, jack of diamonds. So you would think they'll get the accolades, but they may not even get the praise or the accolades. And the seven of spades and Uranus, it may even go into itself the health issues, self-criticism, but it still has to give, no matter what. And they can't really look for anything outside of itself because everything is based upon, the pureness of their heart. If you're giving without expectation, then I think you've really reached the height of that nine and really told the story. One thing that Fred Hampton said, I'm going to die living in my purpose. I'm going to die fighting for the people. That's what he said. He said, I'm not going to die just a laborer. I'm going to die fighting for the people. I'm going to die fighting for my purpose, So that's the extremeness of the nines, that to go out dying nines Mars for what they believe in,
They go to they go, it's a big energy. So they definitely can do it. And it's interesting. He was probably extremely intuitive. He probably knew.
That's
what I'm saying. Here for a short time and made a significant impact too. Didn't need any more time, I guess.
And that's the thing. That's why I say that when it comes to these astrology, these laws, these things like these inevitable moments, and that's how I think astrologers and psychologists, those people created icons. They say the Bible is as a tool, and it has astrology and it's even um, dated back onto like the Septuagint, the Pentateuch, and there's an astrologer that is rumored to have some type of play into it. But I think it kind of came in different dates as well between the Septuagint and all those things. But I think the concept of law comes from walking and talking at your highest degree, where it's reflecting into the everyday principles that we walk by. When you walk and live and die by your card and your principle, I think that is, living within your kingdom, and we all want to be kings, or this concept of Christ, so this sacrifice, for the people, the sacrifice of time for the people, these like I said, these inevitable laws, the king of clubs, Malcolm X was a king of clubs, and you can see how he walked about his philosophy. He showed his card. He was a jack of diamonds early on, but he eventually rose and became a thinker and a questioner of all things, ace of clubs, right? And questioned everything. So, and loved people from all forms, races, backgrounds, not ace of clubs, but king of clubs, but all forms, races, and backgrounds, the three of hearts. There's no bias or prejudice within that three of hearts, so it's knowing and loving all people for who they are. So there's a lot of different, levels of evolution that we all eventually want to transform into our transformation card. So, but I don't want to keep us too long. I think we delved
kind of went.
gave a depth insight of this card. Hopefully you got it, you caught up, and we gave clear examples of the energy in the cards and where it comes from. We don't go through every single card. We'll be here for 3 to 4 hours. Trust me, I've done it. But we try to give you an overview. That is the purpose of the card, and going through the week of matching the energy of the week and letting that teach you or giving you the ability to decipher and read the card as well, and seeing where the energy plays out through the week and the reflection within that card's life path and the energy of that card gives off. So that is the purpose of why we're here. Unfortunately, if you want to go through all the cards, you're going to have to sit down and talk with us personally. But I promise we'll make it fun. That's the Jack's rule of thumb, right? Gina's going to make it fun. It's usually entertaining, right? She's going to use the hand motions.
Always entertaining, I promise. Oh, boy. That's funny.
And let us know. You can reach her at Guided by the Cards at IG, right?
Yep.
And your dope minerals is no longer dope minerals. It is Moon Glow now. Mm-hmm. So I actually need to order some. I tore. I don't know. I ain't gonna say I tore. Like I sprained my hamstring or something really, really bad. Like when you work for Amazon, you get up in and out the car. So I took it around about myself to like, why don't I just work out during this time and run when I get out the car on every stop? Well, maybe I should stretch first and also look at the fact of how I'm jumping out this car and what angle am I stressing my hamstrings. So I need something to soothe my hamstrings and get the blood flowing so they can repair themselves. So I definitely need some Moon Glow. It is filled with magnesium, which it's good for muscle repair, right? And rehabilitation.
The cramping. It actually, if you doing yoga or any kind of exercise, you lose in your sweat your minerals, so your salts. So it's definitely great for muscle recovery and restoring the stuff that you lose. I will be definitely covering my legs tonight because like I said, I worked the show this weekend, so I can sleep tonight. It's as I kind of talked to people this weekend, and it was really neat to kind of relive my story, especially being on the anniversary of my business anniversary, or the weekend of my business anniversary, to kind of relive my story, tell my story, how it helped me, how it changed my life. So it was really cool. And then, and like you were talking about, to kind of connect it to the cards, again, if you don't know your weekly spread, just pay attention to the weekly card, the 9 of hearts, right? Going into the 10 of hearts. I talk a lot about, like, where is that card for you? Is that a card in your spread? If you're a 10 of diamonds, this week has been your Pluto week. So knowing that is key, I think. And I was telling my friend last night that one of the best ways to learn these cards is if you know what the card is of the day collectively, like we know today is a 7 of spades day, and the other key is knowing your personal card, and just go out in the world. And you don't even have to know what the card actually means. Just know what the card is and just see what happens. That will teach you the card. Because then you're like, okay, today was a 7 of spades day. And my card, I think today personally, my card was the 4 of spades. So I was like, oh, it's going to be a great weekend. I'm gonna be content. And 4 of spades to me is my transformation card for life. So it was interesting how to kind of come full circle on an anniversary, going back to doing shows. I haven't done a show in 4 years. So, and it felt good. It felt satisfying. I felt happy. I felt content. It was nice to talk to people. And again, provide satisfaction and happiness, content, sleep for other people by buying my products. So that in itself, and then also knowing that it's a 7 of spades day, I kind of got into this show on a whim and had faith that I was actually in a very unique spot. And when I saw where I was like, well, I'm going to do good. You know what I mean? Like, I'll make it work. I know I will. So that's one of the best ways to learn these cards. If and because your experiences are going to teach you the most, how it shows up for you. And again, like I said, if you know the daily card and then your daily card, just pay attention to what happens, and that will show you. Then now you'll have your own meaning for whatever that card was for you personally, and how you could connect it to the daily energy as well.
Yeah, because you'll see your own personal patterns. It's a self-development tool. Astrology, Cardology, as I was saying at one point when I went into the bookstore, there was astrology and parenting side by side. So it's a self-development tool for yourself, for your children, and everyone around you, to get to know yourself. And you start to see the patterns that you've created, maybe even with some cards, the mindset and thought process and the patterns that you've attributed to the 7 of diamonds or the 9 of hearts. So philanthropist. See, I had to say that word just so I can say it because I messed it up earlier. Because I don't know where my mind was going. I was in a whole nother world. But that you, because I say that because I have a 7 of diamonds in freaking Mars. So and I have a Queen of diamonds. So so if anyone needs to know, it's me, because it's definitely one of those things that I have to tackle. And the King of diamonds is my reward. So yeah, it's definitely, my cosmic lesson. So, it got me under their rule of thumb, trying to drag me and teach me. But anyway, so my personal, like I said, knowing yourself, the patterns. So I have to know myself. I have to understand that those are the things that I have to understand. Even, you can even see your relationships, and I do have one of Ancient Book of Time, Symbolic Destiny by Thomas Morell. He goes about with the cards in certain placements and the pattern behind it, and some things you may even attest to, you may not agree to. And that may be because you just have a different pattern in life, overall. It's kind of like I seen Guru, Jay-Z's producer. He was talking about chess isn't the status quo, because one thing with chess is we all don't start out in the same position. Every card isn't going to start out with the same position in life. It's not going to have the same pattern as you. So my trials and tribulations around men, I didn't have my biological father in my life So I may have a different pattern. I may have the around the 7 of diamonds that may be subject based upon what that book may say. The 3 of diamonds don't really partner or that have great relationships with men. With the 7 of diamonds, have to watch how they do business. So the 9 of hearts, shouldn't do business within their relationships. But they may love smart and powerful women. So if you take a look back at Fred Hampton's relationship and the woman that he got involved with, and who so there was a question around business and supporting the family and those things, right? So you can see these patterns within the cards, within these people's lives. And even so for yourself, like Gina said, you go out throughout the day, you start to recognize and see the patterns around everyone else and also yourself, how you react to them and your mode of thinking, maybe where you need to develop a little bit more as well. As I said, not to keep repeating myself, but this is self-development tool.
So for instance, if I know for me personally, I was born on a Monday. So I also, when I do weekly readings for people, I read your spread from the day you're born. So your week does, how I do it, your week doesn't start on Monday if you weren't born on a Monday. If you were born on a Tuesday, your week starts on a Tuesday, because that's when your cards change. That's when you go to your Mercury day, then your Venus day, your Mars day. So if you're born on a Thursday, if you're one of my clients that get my weekly readings, your reading is sent to you Wednesday by end of day, because your week starts on Thursday. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I read them. And so let's say tomorrow is my Mercury day, and I don't know what my card is. I didn't look yet. But let's say it's a 5. And I wake up tomorrow knowing that my card is a 5. So I already know that my plans are probably going to change, and I might as well just go with the flow. Because if I don't, now you're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna get, I should. But look, I got a 5 today, and let's say I have a 5, and collectively tomorrow's gonna be a 6 of spades. And what do I need to have? Patience in the change. Trust that if something is changing, that it's actually aligning for my high. That's because that's what 6s are: alignment, timing, fate, destiny, especially the 6 of spades. So if you got a 5, if I have a 5 and my plans are getting redirected or changing, I must then know, I know that instead of, now I'm not going to resist that change. I'm going to flow with it and watch. By the end of the day, I'll be grateful that my plans changed, because it led me to something better. It actually led me to what I needed to get to be able to get done, or whatever it may be. So that's just how you can kind of really, when you know that, right? You're like, all right, cool. I know, like, I woke up and let's say like my class gets canceled. I think I actually had that happen to me like 2 weeks ago. I was on my way to my class, and the way my classes are set up, if you don't get there within 5 minutes, you can't come in because they want you to warm up. There was an accident. The whole road was shut down. I could not get to the class. So I had to call them and be like, look, I can't make it. And I ended up just going to a different gym and did something else. That really bothered me. But then I was like, shit, I got a 5 today. Let me just turn my ass around, go to the gym and do something else. And I'm not holding on to that, pissed off and frustrated. I wasn't meant to be at that class. Shit, if I would have left earlier, I might have been in that accident.
No, facts.
You know what I mean? So you got to go with the flow. And so that's why it's a tool. It really is. And when you know what the energy is, you're just like, you know what? I know what this is. Let me just be in it instead of trying to resist it and not. And now you're, I think we'll get the low side of that energy, because you're in opposition to it, I guess. So.
Resistance.
Yeah, you're resisting it.
I was like, you know what? I was like, I can't talk. I wonder if it's the 5 of hearts. I was like, maybe it's a 5, but I'm definitely displacing the 5 of hearts this week. I cannot communicate for nothing in the 5 of hearts and Neptune. Yeah, so looking at your weeklies, there is a calculation of how to do that as well.
But we're not going to get into that now.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's what I was going to say. If you have any questions, just look at my Instagram.
Yeah, he's the mathematical guy over there with all the calculations. He can get you that.
I don't have the 7 week calculation down. I definitely had to hit Gino because I thought I was calculating something wrong. I was like, what? Why is this? It was during the app though. So beware that sometimes, that's why sometimes I like doing it by hand because these apps malfunction. So hit Gina up. She does weeklies. If you have questions, again, about anything, how to get your weekly, looking at your charts, just DM us. But we will see you all next week. There's a 10 of Hearts week. So I guess, was there anything you wanted to say about next week with the 10 of Hearts?
I think it's interesting that it's a 10 of Hearts week as we enter the King of Hearts month. So put yourself out there, have fun. You may be more family gatherings, but I was just thinking about it actually, for my own self, the word moon glow is a 10 of Hearts. So I think there could be some big, business stuff for me. Maybe Moonglow will get some more attention, or maybe just doing the show and getting word out, putting word of mouth out there. So you could definitely use that. But the 10 of Hearts can be really, when you think about it, it's, opening up your heart, and really allowing yourself to kind of have that big love. It can be feeling admired or appreciated. It's a big energy. It's a lot of emotion. So, it does have its low sides, but at the same time, I think it's an opportunity to open up your heart and to really experience an increase of emotional power and success, especially within groups of people or your family or the people closest to you. That's a good energy for that.
Mm-hmm. Especially coming off the 9 of Hearts week,
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't communicate it enough, there's a sense of duty for people, in the public. So with the 10 of Hearts, take that, essence and give to people. I think sharing love, providing love, creating a space. I think the 10 of Hearts can be a party, most definitely. 10 of Hearts, Jack of Clubs can definitely be a social event or a gathering, being out in the public. It is a very
Networking. Getting in groups of people and networking. What do you do? What do you do? Oh, here, I can help you. Here's my card. So if you have a business, it would be a word of mouth, and networking would be ideal to, be working on that. Like 10 of Hearts could it be an energy of going viral or getting a lot of attention. It's a performer card. So perform in whatever way that may show up for you. Use that energy to your, highest good.
Change, change your environment, scenery, do something outside of your norm, travel,
Mm-hmm.
if you can, and see new people, get to see new places, try to experience things that you normally don't do. Be around maybe even younger people, as well. Some create a new energy in some type of way. Because that helps with the creative ideas. That's why they say keeping younger people around, because they think in a different way, so you're able to be creative and have fun. So the 10 of Hearts can also be the hospital or hospitality, so places of comfort, enjoy yourself as well. Be careful if you are traveling, as
Mm-hmm.
always, everyone, always be careful. But yeah, we'll see you all. We'll go a little bit more into the 10 of Hearts and why we may have said things that we have said. And we'll see you all next week.
We'll be back next week at our normal time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
normal time is fine. All
All
right.
right. Bye.
See you
Peace.
all.
See you next week.